Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Printing United Expo Preview Week. And we are about to start our Printing United Power Hour, which means that Ashley Roberts, the content director of Printing Impressions, is here as my chatty co-host. Where are you?
Hello. How you
Hey,
doing?
everybody. Ashley's here.
Woohoo! I want to make sure everyone knows that I'm here.
Yes, Ashley announced herself. She's like, Ashley's here.
Well, I didn't know if you could see my name, and then I was like, you know what, just
Ashley's here, everybody, but I'm very happy to have you. It's a hair down day, so
It
it
is.
must be going crazy there in Philly. You're feeling frisky on packaging day. Who's
Yes.
not? I must ask you before Cory comes on. I've been saying his last name is Francer. Is that correct?
Well, so I also
Is it-
say Francer.
But
So
it's Francais or
no,
we're right?
no, I mean, he can correct us when he comes on, but if you're saying it wrong, I've been saying it wrong for 11 years. So.
Oh, he says we're right. Thank God.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was one of those like French things where it's like really français, and I was like, I've had a couple of different versions, but I'm glad that we've gotten it right. Thank you, Cory. Okay. Packaging. Pat McGrew had her on yesterday to talk about opportunities. Her first was wide format, if a printer's not in wide format. Her second was packaging. And as you know, you can do packaging on wide format. So they're kind of tied together. You are the content director of Printing Impressions. From that lens, what are the stories you're writing about commercial printers adopting packaging? And then we'll bring Cory in for the packaging perspective.
Yeah. So we, just like and you mentioned wide format, just as, commercial printers are moving into the wide format space, they're also moving into packaging. And I know one of the themes we've been talking about is, there are packaging, package printers, converters, that is their specialty. They do, really high-end work, more complex stuff, but there are ways for commercial printers to get into the packaging space through, a good entry point is, labels. So it is definitely something that I'm seeing over the past few years, commercial printers getting more into. I mean, we've even highlighted there was a particular company that I'm thinking of that was a commercial printer, and they went 100% packaging because they had so much success with their packaging offerings. So it's, obviously that's not going to be the case for every commercial printer, but it's an area of exploration for a lot of companies. And the expo is the perfect place to see, if there's some entry-level equipment or maybe on your existing equipment, finding out how you can, use it in different ways to meet, some needs of your customers.
I remember the first time I went to Drupo's 2016, and I was just walking around, and I walked into a hall that had a Bobst packaging press. This thing was 200 feet. I am not exaggerating. Okay, maybe 150 feet. It was 2 stories in the air. You had to take ladders up to get up there. And I had never seen a bigger thing in my life, because this, again, my first time at Drupa. I've never been to a packaging plant, right? I stood there and I was like, now I understand why the packaging people think they have nothing to do with the commercial printing industry, until I started talking to a couple of those manufacturers, and they were like, they're actually investing in digital printing equipment because they've been saying no to 5,000. They're like, if you don't have 500,000, we're not talking to you.
Right.
So they started turning people away. So in that same sense, there's a way for someone with a digital printer to start getting into a packaging, lane. And to your point, no, you're not going to print for Kellogg's. Get that out of your head.
Right.
There are plenty of people in your immediate local vicinity that don't realize they need a little package in their life.
Right. Or, the local brewery who needs labels for their cans or their beer bottles.
Exactly.
If you're already doing the menus for them and you're doing maybe some posters in the brewery on your wide format equipment, why not also see if you can do some labels for them and kind of be that, as we talked about earlier this week, the one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for that high-end stuff or that really complex stuff, but doing some of the, more entry-level work and, kind of testing the waters there. And then if it turns into something that you are finding a lot of success with, then maybe investing in something a little more,
but a lot of those presses can do multiple things, though.
Right.
I mean, you could print a zillion labels out on a flatbread printer if you really wanted to. The other thing is that if you, that I'm a strong believer of go outside and see how the world is functioning.
Yeah.
And one of the things I notice everywhere is that when you go to a restaurant, you get your stuff to take home. It's a bag.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Then it goes into my refrigerator, right? Why isn't there like a little sticker on it that says thank you so much for coming? Why isn't there a little sticker on? You don't have to convince someone to print paper bags, although you could. But start with a little sticker. So it's, I don't know, put something nice in there, like come back, a loyalty card or something. Yeah. It's a package to me is a way to continue a relationship with somebody, because most packages, Ashley, where do they end up? In your house.
Right. Yeah, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. There are a lot of opportunities. And I think maybe this is a good time to bring on Cory.
Yes.
Because this is his area of expertise. So Cory Francer, Content Director of Packaging Impressions. Welcome on.
Cory's here, everybody.
Hey, I'm here. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Deb. Great to see you.
Hello.
Thanks for having me on. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Of course. And thank you for having a microphone that's not feedbacking.
Oh, okay. We're sounding okay?
Yes. Yes. It sounds great. Please, host.
Yes. Okay. So Cory, we gave you a little introduction. You, when I first started, you've had a few different roles through the company, but you were the packaging editor for many years, and then you moved over to research, and you're back with the packaging. So tell us a little bit about your background and your role.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been with Printing United, NAPCO, the company for a little over 12 years now. When I started, I worked on 2 of our publications. It was Package Printing at the time, now known as Packaging Impressions. I also worked quite a bit on our implant publication, Implant Impressions. And then, I ended up coming on full time into the packaging space as editor of Package Printing, Packaging Impressions, and then about 5 or so years ago, an opportunity presented itself to join our spectacular research division, led by Nathan Safran and Lisa Cross. And it was a great opportunity to try something new, dive into research in packaging, but also into some of the other print segments that we cover here at Printing United Alliance. And it was an amazing experience. I learned a ton, especially from Nathan and Lisa, and Evan West, our amazing data analyst as well. Should definitely shout out Evan. But earlier this year, the opportunity again kind of just presented itself to come back into the fold as editor of Packaging Impressions. And, I missed it. I missed being all packaging all the time. I missed really the journalism side of things. I liked doing the research and reporting on the industry from, a data perspective, but, I miss doing the interviews. I miss having those conversations. So it's been great. I've been back for a couple months now, and all good things, and looking forward to an exciting fall.
Yeah. And I remember one of the things that you said you missed was, going to events, visiting, with people, but also going to events and kind of seeing what's out there. So what are some of the things that you are watching, some trends you're watching now that you're back fully into the packaging space? That maybe some technology or, new applications, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ashley, you and Deb were just talking about it. Some of the really exciting, entry level types of opportunities. And Deb, 2016 was also my first Drupa, and seeing those big CI wide web flexo presses, they're massive, and making an entry into the packaging space with equipment like that, it's just not feasible.
Could you imagine? You'd need an airplane hangar. That's right? How big it was. The entire side of a
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And in the 10 years since, so much has changed. And those digital press innovations that have happened are really opening the doors to labels and packaging that just weren't available 10 years ago. And yeah, that's been so exciting to see. And like Ashley mentioned, there are so many local businesses, whether it's, local brewery, winery, boutique, soap maker that needs a high-end folding carton. They're all out there, and yeah, the technology has really come a long way to lower those entry barriers. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Printing United to see what's on the floor on that end of things.
Yeah. Deb?
Oh, thank you. I have a question. Um, Flexible packaging.
Yeah.
I'm I'm hoping that there will be more of an uptake in in this. Are you seeing that more of the traditional folding carton people are now
Mhm.
like, this might be a good opportunity. And I say this because, again, I live in the real world. Go into any store and see what is coming in pouches now. I
Mhm.
mean, I bought a bunch of jalapenos in pouch the other day after I made sure it wasn't coming from the places that I don't want it to come from. But yeah, I mean, it is trending everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, it's I believe it one of, if not the fastest growing packaging segments, corrugated being the other. They're one and two. I forget who's out in the lead right
Yeah, I
now,
forgot.
but
I always
yes,
forget about corrugated, but you're right. Yeah.
yep. Also very high growth, but yeah, flexible packaging is such an exciting opportunity because there's a lot of both brand and consumer appreciation for it. It's convenient, it's portable, it can be resealed. The branding opportunities are amazing that you can go top to bottom graphics on it. What I will say about flexible packaging is it is not easy. It is a challenging application to get into. There are technologies that are lowering the entry barriers. There are digital presses out there. HP Indigo has certainly been kind of out in front on that with their platform. There are also a lot of very exciting inkjet developments in the works for flexible packaging. So keep an eye on that because there is some really exciting development happening there. But it's complex. There's lamination. There's multiple layers that need to go into a flexible package to make sure that it maintains all those barrier properties for direct food contact and all of the things like that. So in terms of convergence into flexible packaging, I would say we're seeing a lot, or maybe not even a lot, but it's highly concentrated in existing label printers, maybe looking to make a move into flexible packaging just because there is some similarity there in terms of the process. It's a roll-fed process, and there's maybe more crossover there compared to maybe an existing folding carton printer. So yeah, there definitely is opportunity there, and there's a lot of high growth. And yeah, the convergence opportunities, I would say, is trending more towards label printers looking to get into flexible packaging. But it's really exciting. It's so exciting for these brands that maybe haven't had the ability to get into a flexible package before, because Deb, like you mentioned, the minimums were so much higher than a small boutique local brand might be able to feasibly have in their inventory. So
Right.
having those digital options to, print on demand, get those lower quantities, those shorter runs, gives the opportunity to those smaller brands to get into a flexible package that, maybe a larger brand like a Kellogg, for example, might have been able to access that they weren't able to previously. So
Right.
yeah, definitely exciting times in FlexPack,
I just
100%.
want to I just want to say one more thing about that.
Sure.
If I occasionally go to the shows in Europe, and they are ahead of us in adopting a lot of things, and they do have a lot more regulations around sustainability and
Yep.
everything like that. And let me tell you, a pouch has a fantastic sustainability story, whether it is the fact
Yep.
that there's less shipments because you can fit more on the shelf, whether it's that nobody in the recycling plant has any problem putting a pouch in the recycling area because they're told you can do it. Whereas if they look at a piece of print, maybe it has an embellishment on it, they don't know what to do with themselves, right? You can also embellish flexible packaging. I mean,
Yep.
I hear what you're saying. I don't even understand what the finishing process is on any of that, but you cannot deny that this is like right now we're in the sort of like the last days of, I think, of a lot of ways of people thinking I must have a box to, which one is actually going to be better for me? So I just want to say that I really think that there is, if you're entering a market, honestly, if it were me, I would go right to flexible packaging. But there are so many factors. But to your point, go talk to HP, go talk to the other vendors on the show floor, and have these conversations about what does it take to get into the business. Ashley, so sorry.
No, please. Oh my God. Great questions. I have one final question.
Sure.
So something we asked, Deb asked me and I asked Dan, and we've kind of talked to everyone about this week is, you're talking about expansion into other segments within the packaging space. Are you seeing any expansion for packaging printers, converters into other segments?
Outside of packaging?
Yeah, outside of packaging.
Yeah, I would say, where some of those opportunities are, going back to corrugated, I think there is some good alignment there to go into the display space, especially with some of the digital equipment. But yeah, the corrugated printers and converters out there, a lot of them are just focused on producing printed corrugated boxes, shipping containers, that type of thing. But yes, the POP, POS display market, that's a big one. And it's packaging adjacent, I would say, but it's not a package in the traditional sense. So yeah, that's certainly a big one. And with some of the innovation happening in digital there on the wide format side, to do some very targeted seasonal or regional or even tied in with something cultural like a movie release or something, and do a one-off digitally printed corrugated display that could go into a retail environment. Yeah, great opportunity.
Yeah, that's actually, so that's what kind of where my mind was going, are people doing that? Because I feel like that's a great, something else that kind of can go along with.
Yeah, there's one other thing too, prototyping.
Yes.
The package people make prototypes all the time for that.
Yeah.
And you would be surprised how many like advertising agencies are looking, just let me see it so I can sell it to somebody. And I mean, I have paid back in the day, I think I paid almost $500 or $600 for one t-shirt because we just needed one to show the client at a meeting. And people were like, what? You need one t-shirt? They didn't even understand the concept at the time. And let alone I needed it the next day. So I had to keep the print shop open all night in New York City. Hence,
I hope you kept that t-shirt and framed it.
It wasn't for me, but the first iteration of it had 17 passes of color. This is why you do not, this is why you say to the creatives, let me check on that and I'll get right back to you if you can produce that. Go ahead, Ashley.
Well, I was just going to say, Cory, thank you so much for joining us today. Packaging space is really exciting. So we were so happy to have you on for our Packaging Thursday. We do have another guest coming on. So I will introduce him in a second, but.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks Ashley. Thanks Deb. Appreciate the time and the opportunity. Thanks.
Bye. So next up, we have Mark Pomerantz, who many people watching this may already know. If you don't, you're going to get to know him in the next few minutes. He is the founder of Sales Wisdom. He's a longtime industry expert, and he's also one of our all-stars this year. So Mark?
And my airport buddy, I run into Mark in the airport. So.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Hi, Deb. Hi, Ashley. Great to be here. I have to tell you, I was loving that conversation you were just having.
Yeah.
And I wanted to jump in probably 2 or 3 different times, but really great questions and great opportunities in packaging.
But
And
you should jump in now because we all know you have experience in this space.
well, and just in the more recent, the latter part of the conversation there, it's interesting. One of you said something about, oh, Deb, I think you said, if I were to start now, I would jump right into flexible. Well, in my experience, a majority of the people we were working with were startups. And that's exactly who were doing that. And in many cases, it was the brands themselves, or it was just entrepreneurs who were in some type of adjacent business, stickers, labels, promotional. They see what's going on in flexible packaging. And then there was the whole other cannabis issue, which really, of course, requires flexible packaging ultimately. So flexible is this really weird space where you've got these huge giants with huge presses that have been doing this for a long time, for big runs and big names, big brands. And then you've got all these entrepreneurial businesses starting. And of course, those people don't know where to go. And so some of them say, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to figure out a way to get into the business. So you're right, Deb. A lot of people had that same thought as you and have done it. Now, what Cory said, there's a lot of truth to it. It's not for the faint of heart. And then you've got in addition to everything he said, you have child-proof zipper closures and and food and barrier for food safety, and so there's a lot of knowledge that needs to be done, and so you need a really good partner who has that kind of expertise, and you probably need more than one who understands the consumables and understands how to get the orders through the system online. There's a lot to it, but it's no doubt exciting business.
But you'll be there already, and you'll be the expert when everyone else is like, let's look at flexible packaging today, this year. And then you'll be like, oh, it's like I always compare it to a phone, like you need a new phone. Maybe your contract is ready for a new phone, and you're like, it's the time of the year that if I just wait, 3 more months, I can get the same deal with a newer phone.
Yeah.
So, or maybe I'm going to skip this year and then I'll upgrade, 2 phones up. And this to me is like the upgrade. It's the preempting having to shift or add new services after that. There's a printer in Germany, Label Listen, it's called. Frank, I can't pronounce your last name, Frank, but I love you. I'll put his link there. He made an entire flexible packaging business from a label business, and he's not looking back at all at it. So the opportunity is just vast. But I get it. If it was hard, if it was easy, everyone would do it, and because it's not, it's a way to say we can do something different for you than anyone else can do. And the quantities do not have to be big,
Yeah.
there just has to be a lot of small quantities.
And then the other thing, Ashley, you asked about and it was a great question you asked, Cory, are people reverse converging, I'll call it, right? From packaging, because everyone's been going after label and packaging forever, right? And here's an interesting thing. I can't tell you that I have empirical data that says this is happening. But when you look at direct-to-film applications for branded merchandise, see, I use that term, Deb, those people are basically printing labels that then get heat transferred onto, apparel and towels and things like that. It's very similar. So there is interest there because it is a side or an adjacent technology, and some of the crossover support products like in finishing and cutting would apply in both. And so I don't know if it's a thing that's happening yet, but I think it could be.
And
it very well could be.
And you know what? That's actually a great point. Think about brands who want to do, I know it's a couple years into it now, but like these unboxing experiences where Garnier does a unboxing experience with a box, and then inside are some branded products. If they're one of your customers and you're already producing their packaging, now you can also do some of the what you've been saying it all week, and now I forget. Branded merchandise, right?
Branded merchandise, yes.
So, you can do the branded merchandise too for them, and have, the extra little swag in there. So it makes sense to me as like a great place to go into a different.
And to Mark's point, there is a company out there, again with my YouTube references, but who's watching YouTube? All the single use buyers, right? All the, oh, I have a little Etsy store. There is a company out there. All they do is make the DTF transfers. That's all they do. You send them the artwork and they'll just send you the transfer and then go figure out what you want to do with it. There is a gigantic business in that.
Yeah, and we could go on for this forever. And Ashley, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not intruding on your agenda, but
please, at least it's someone else besides me now.
But if we're going to talk at all about the Printing United Expo history or mine with it, I was sold on the concept back in 2018, before the first year, right? When it was probably Ford and Mark Subers and maybe even Jim Martin who came and talked to us about it. And this is such a real thing because there's so many opportunities that don't look like the old opportunities in print anymore that have started in the last 10 years, right? And so many of them are in package related, et cetera. But in the printing industry, with all the good things we do well, what we usually don't do well is we get it wrong why it's happening. And we always think with our manufacturing brain, but if you really think about it, it's more about the experience of wanting to deal with one or two at the most loyal suppliers who can do it all for me. I mean, Deb, you were a print buyer, right? You couldn't really love dealing with 12 people and then constantly shifting back and forth.
I had no choice. I mean, at the time.
But people and the current generation of people doing that, they're not as educated and as dedicated to that role as they were. They're wearing a lot of hats. They're part of the marketing team, probably. Maybe print is their least favorite thing to deal with. So they're looking more for the experience as opposed to what press do you have and, how cheap are you? How fast can you do this and that? Of course, those things still matter, but it's not the first cut. It's not what they're really looking for. They want an experience that they can work with someone who can give them the entire portfolio of things they need for an event, for a show, for a conference, a meeting, for their outbound marketing, whatever it is, right? For all of their brand promotion. And that's the driving force of print on demand and all of that. It's not just making one, it's having an easy process, an Amazon type process. I can go online, I can do a couple of clicks. Hey, if I need a question, then maybe I'll send a chat message, right? And see what I get back. And that's what's really changed more than the print technology. I think that's super important for people to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know at this point, we've been having this conversation already, but we didn't really introduce you and what your background is.
Because you got to come in at 60. You don't start at 0 when you're talking about packaging because it's exciting.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. So I just, Mark, you have such a wide expertise. So can you just tell us kind of a little bit about you and what maybe you're interested in and what you're going to be looking at while you're at the expo?
Sure. Oh, I'd love to. Thank you. And and Deb, you're right. You have to jump in this show. You got to jump in the fast lane and start at 60. I'm a print industry lifer, and like many of us kind of got there by accident. But I've been all through college and 90-something% of my career has been in print. And I started on the support side. I haven't been in sales my entire career. In fact, my first half was all in support and product marketing and eventually marketing and so on. And one day somebody challenged me and said I didn't know anything about sales. So I had to prove them wrong. And I switched hats when I went to Creo was actually my first sales position. And I've stayed on the sales side for the majority of it since then. And I've mostly worked for OEM technology companies, but I did run a a facility that was manufacturing personalized phone cases back in the early days, and we were making a few thousand a day, and we thought that was incredible. And I did sell for a large a wide format company. I did sell print for a couple of years, and so I do know both sides of the equation. I love everything about print, but what I love most are the people. And I've been fortunate to have a good career. I've been in digital print the last 20 years. I worked for HP, I worked for Zycon, and so I've been involved in a lot of really exciting projects, like including Amazon from the very beginning for their book manufacturing, and some really cool things. And we do so many cool things in the print industry. That's another thing, we don't do a good enough job telling our story, how exciting it is, and how much a real part of the fabric of our lives that print is. So about a year and a half ago, I ended my corporate career. I work on my own now. I didn't want to retire. I didn't want to be a consultant. I didn't want to start a consultancy. There's a lot of good people doing things like that. I do special projects to help people grow their business and solve problems, whatever they are. And it's all with people I know and who know me. So I don't have to sell myself. They know who I am. They know what I do. And I also like working with them. So very fortunately, I've been successful thus far. I enjoy what I do, get to spend more time not working as well too, and took a few vacations that I haven't been able to take over the years. So it's been a great year and a half.
Good, good. And I know, you mentioned, the people, it's a big, big part of it, and building relationships. And, as you said, you've been with different companies and in different roles and in different sides of the business. So you know a lot of people. And so I think it makes total sense that you are one of our all-stars this year. So, and I believe you were an all-star last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what does it mean to you? What, being an all-star, and what are your plans for the expo?
Yeah. Being the all-star, I have to tell you, it's a lot more than the hype of it. At first, it was nice. Hey, it's an honor, and I appreciated it. And then you look around and you realize that, well, there were several people. I know Warren, I know Joanne Gore, and so on. But most of them I didn't know. And the genius in putting this team together is that we all came from different segments of the business. So we were really representing the convergence, the theme of the show. And we brought all this expertise together. Nobody knew what it was going to be like when we actually met, first on a Zoom call and then in person. But it was just really amazing just how well the chemistry was with all of us. And people just let their guard down right away. And the first year was just this kind of exploration, right? And we didn't have a lot of time. It was just announced a few months before the show, as you know, Ashley. But now we've had this time to really get to know each other. So I can tell you that for my business, several of my fellow all-stars have been extremely helpful. They are involved in the projects because convergence is really happening. And those are the kind of projects I'm on, where people are at point A and they want to get to point B in some other segment. And so a lot of times I know the core, but I don't know the new side. Okay, I can now reach out to my fellow all-stars, which I have, and they have been super helpful. And now a couple of them are actually even involved in the project. And so behind the scenes, and I'm not the only one of the all-stars doing this. Quite a few of us have teamed up since we were named all-stars, and things are happening. So that's a kind of a behind the scenes, a little BTS on what's going on with the all-stars. So I feel like when we get there this year to Las Vegas, it's going to be like an explosion. Having all of us together in one place again.
That's amazing. I did not know. I mean, we've been talking to all-stars, and, there's a lot of social coverage coming from the all-star team, but I did not know that you've kind of found that community with each other. And that's amazing to hear. We did have Caitlin on the other day, and she had a very sparkly jacket on, and she said she will be wearing it as an all-star. So do you have a thing that you're going to wear that people can identify you on the show floor?
No, just
No.
The only thing shiny on me will be my head, which is as usual underneath the lights. But no, I can't. I mean, people like David Slagle, one of our all-stars, who is known for his yellow jacket, and Caitlin, they look a lot better in something like that. So I'll let them carry that out. But I think there is a surprise. I don't know how much something related to what Unifoil is doing that we're going to be involved with, right? So I probably should leave it at there, but I will be represented as part of that as well.
Okay.
Too.
Okay, then everybody watching, keep an eye on that space, and we'll see once we get to Vegas what that's all about.
Well, hang on a second. Let's talk. You didn't mention the space that they'll be in the Spill the Ink, right? Isn't that where the All-Stars hang out?
Yeah, that's really cool. So, we have, I say this all the time, so I have no problem saying it publicly, but we have just great leadership from the Printing United Alliance and the Expo people, Amanda and Nicole, and just really everybody who's been involved with it. And they've really thought a lot of this through. Like I said, there's a lot more to the hype than this. There's a lot of thought that's gone into this. And one of the things that they built this year is that whole Spill the Ink theater, which is built out from last year. Part of it is being dedicated to the All-Star team. So we have a place that people can find us. So anyone who wants to meet any of the All-Stars, and I would love to meet anybody who's watching, just to come up and say hello.
Highly recommend.
You can find us, and you have a place that you can find us. And there's a lot going on in there. There's the theater. I'm calling that Theater Speakers Corner, where there's going to be a lot of scheduled topics that are going to be discussed. There's going to be live podcasts going on. It's really a place of action, almost like a little village within the show. It's really exciting. I think they did a great job in putting this together. So anyone watching, please come by and say hello, introduce yourself. Like you, Deb, I love meeting people at events like this. That's what it's really all about. Hearing what people are doing. I have a sincere interest to learn what someone's doing, something new or different or exciting, or has any questions that I can help them with.
Whenever I run into someone new and I talk to them, I'm like, what's the coolest thing you've seen at the show? And that is how I find out about all the cool stuff at the show.
Yeah, exactly. And my question has always been, what did you see that you didn't expect to see? Right? Same kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I kind of feel like
you?
they're these scout ants, and it's a big show. So as long as I have scout ants out there, I'm like, tell me what you've been looking at. I think we have another guest, Ash.
We do. So our next guest will be on in just a moment. But Mark, thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited to see you in Vegas, and appreciate you coming on.
I'll see you in the airport.
Likewise, great to be here. Good to see both of you. Take care. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Amanda and Carly are in the chat. I just want to say, posting links and directions to everything.
Perfect. Thank you both, Amanda and Carly. So our next guest has been joining us all this week, Denise Gustavson, Vice President of Editorial Content Strategy for Printing United Alliance. And she's going to join us and chat about the expo, about the educational sessions, and maybe get into a little bit of specifics on the packaging side of things.
I want you to add rubber duck enthusiast to Denise's introduction, because I have to tell you, I have a rubber duck collection, and I think I have one of those from Germany, the same one.
Yes, that's exactly where they're from.
So, Ashley, you have, I've been noticing, by the way, I kept it under wraps. This is the fourth day, or you weren't here on Monday. So this is the third day that I have been like, I need to work those ducks into this conversation. So there you go. Rubber duck enthusiast.
Okay. Yeah. We'll add that to your signature, Denise.
Okay. I'll try to add that in. So we're good.
I mean, I would lead with it personally, but you're talking to the intergalactic ambassador to the Printiverse,
Well, Denise and I were actually the other day just showing off to each other, the little fun things that we have on our desk.
Okay, I need to get in on that. Just saying.
Okay, we'll sidebar and show off all those things.
I mean, here's a Tyrannosaurus puppet. I'm just saying, this is the first thing I grabbed. It's conveniently.
Denise, show your "this is fine" thing.
Oh, God.
I happened to, just for everyone listening, reference this meme, "This is fine."
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
I know. I happened to reference it, and Denise goes,
"You mean this thing?"
And showed it, and I was like, yes!
I also love Dumpster Fire, the Dumpster Fire one.
I don't have that one yet, but I have seen it.
Yeah.
This
And
is
love
this
it.
is me.
Did you have it custom made?
Trish Wachowski had it made for me.
Oh my gosh. Good
From
job.
a company called Budsies. And then someone emailed me and they're like, you're on BuzzFeed. I was like, what? Budsies liked my picture so much that they put it on the BuzzFeed feed to sell these.
Oh no!
I signed an agreement. I'm like, oh yeah, promote the hell out of it. Please.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that is very cool. So yes, we'll have a meeting after this to go over everything on our desks. So Denise, welcome back.
Thank you.
And so for anyone here today who's listening who was not here earlier in the week, Denise is the head of the editorial department at the Alliance with, for all the Printing United Alliance media brands, but she also does all the education. So the paid education programming at the Expo, Denise manages all of that. I know it's a big lift and a big process. So Denise, can you talk a little bit about that? And then maybe we can talk about some specific packaging stuff.
Sure. So I'll do a quick intro too, since as Ashley mentioned, I am the Vice President of Editorial and Content Strategy for Printing United Alliance. Very cute, Deb. And one of the things that, besides all of the brand publications that we have 7 different titles, including the journal. We also do, the editorial department is responsible for programming for our various events. So our summits as well. So our smaller, more intimate gatherings, but also for the expo, we do all the programming for our education. So this year we'll have approximately 70 sessions up in the paid education sessions. That does not include the show floor stuff. So we do have stuff going on the show floor with the apparel zone, with the AI pavilion. Obviously, we have stuff in the Spill the Ink district, as Mark was mentioning. So we have education in many, many places. And for those members, the paid education sessions are included as part of your Expo Pass. So that's one of the benefits of being a member, is you'll be able to access all of those really great thought leaders and really get some really good practical information that you're going to be able to put into your business, when you go back, on Friday when you head to the airport. You'll be able to just get ready with that for the next week. Deb?
Yes, thank you so much. Over the past years across the industry, we've seen, where there used to be a printing company that brought maybe 5 people with them. We've seen those numbers get smaller, which to me means missing out on opportunities. If you only have a small amount of people, I know people who come with the 3 top people from their company. They all take different segments and they keep meeting up and, discussing what they saw. But that literally cuts them off from having the time to go to some of the education there. So I would like you to make a case for the other types of people besides the owners, that it would be valuable for them, for the print shop to invest in bringing them to the show, to literally take the classes. Like, that would be their job, and then report back.
And honestly, I think the best way for people to really experience the expo is to do like that divide and conquer. So when you have several people at different levels, they're responsible for different things. So if you have somebody that's responsible for color, there's a ton of information there that's between the education sessions, and also the day before we have the G7 users group meeting. Mm-hmm. There's so much stuff going on the floor itself. For someone that's into color or color consistency, they need to focus on that. They shouldn't be doing 50 other things. But then, your C-suite, some of your department leads, especially if you're looking for new equipment, the department leads in many cases are the ones that are going to be using that equipment. They know what they need. They know what they need to fill the orders that they have and the stuff that's coming up. So many different ways that you can really attack the expo and get what you need out of it. If you're just going with 1 or 2 people, I think you're missing out on so much, because you're just getting in some ways just the surface, just because there's so much at the expo to experience.
Yeah.
Right.
I like to think of the educational sessions as that other spot where somebody should be sent to report back. And the amazingness of having that type of program at a gigantic trade show is, I just learned about this new opportunity in wide format that sounds perfect for my company. Now I go down, I find my other team members who've been walking around. I say, this is what we're looking for. And they're like, aha, I've seen that in 2 booths. Let's go over there now and start having conversations.
Right.
Part of it's also the networking. It's like when you're sitting in those sessions, some of the questions that come out at the Q&A portions, they're like, oh yeah, I'm dealing with that issue too, or I'm dealing with this, that, the other thing.
Or I never
you can
thought of
make
it.
connections
Yeah.
with peers that can help you.
Yeah.
That if you're not there, you're going to miss out on that whole thing.
Yeah, and maybe it's also, an opportunity if you're thinking about, again, all week we've been talking about expanding into new segments, trying, new technology. That's a good one. Trying new technology. It might be worth it if you're thinking about that, going to some of the educational sessions in those other segments. So you can get ideas for, for example, I know Tony's doing the ideas you should steal for the mailing space, direct mail. Like getting inspiration or hearing people talk about challenges and benefits of different types of technology. And honestly, we love all the vendors. We love all the people who will be there with their booths. But it's nice also to hear from peers who are going to be on panels. It's nice to hear from consultants. It's kind of nice to get that different perspective than when you're walking into a booth. You're only hearing one, perspective from that particular company, but
that's a nice way of putting it. A perspective, sales perspective.
A sales pitch.
Yeah, I'm learning so much about being a controlled person from you and Amanda. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
yes, a perspective.
But when you're in the sessions, you're hearing from experts in different areas, and they're not necessarily tied to a product, is what I'm trying to say. And so that gives you kind of a different perspective there. And Denise, I know that, there's sessions in all different segments. Are there specific things like in research or elsewhere that are specific for people in the packaging space?
So yes, there's actually a couple things that I would definitely recommend as if you were going as a packaging person or someone that's looking to get into that segment. The first one, which is I've recommended so far every day, is our printing industry outlook for 2027. Again, first thing on first day of the show, 10 a.m., Andrew Paparazzi and Anamika Dar. That's really going to give you a really nice foundation of kind of what's to come. What are the trends that we're seeing overall in the industry? It's really something that everybody can really should really dive into and get some of those high level things. So that way you kind of know what you're doing the rest of the show. And then obviously, if you are looking at getting into another market segment, so if you're in commercial looking to get into packaging, or you're looking to do that, or honestly, if you're already in packaging, maybe you're doing labels and you want to get into folding carton, or if you want to get into flexible, our crossing over our convergence session that same day at 3:00 with Lisa Cross and Nathan Safran will be ideal because it's really going to talk about what people are doing, what are the areas people are going into, and what they're finding, and what successes they're finding in doing that, and really looking at those convergence areas. But on the 24th, we actually have 2 things that are really hyper focused on packaging. And one is specifically about how brand owner dynamics are changing the packaging opportunity. So this is going to be important because this is going to be the buyers. So this is your packaging buyers and the brand owners. So the big people that are making the decisions about what their packaging is going to look like. What are their needs? What are they looking for? So really, really great information that we're going to get from our Alliance Insights team that will be able to share that. And then also Peter Schaefer with NDP is going to be sharing the inside scoop on buyers interested in print and packaging. So again, if you're on the outside looking in, really great session to look and see what the print and packaging companies can offer. And then, as I think you were talking with Cory, I came in a little bit when we had Cory on. talking about sustainability, because packaging and sustainability is so super important. Europe especially is ahead of us at this point, but again, we have 2 sessions on sustainability, one about compliance and one about foundations. We have one on day 1, one on day 2. So again, something that's very important, especially for those that are involved with any kind of sustainability guidelines, essential things that you're going to need to know. So those are going to be my top 6 if you're in the packaging side of things.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm sure Amanda and Carly are probably already.
No, please. Every link, as Denise was saying them, I've been watching them. I'm like, I need these people like with me at all times. It's like, here it is in my hand already.
Oh my God, they're like machines. Well, thank you,
machines.
Amanda and Carly, for adding links there. I know we do have one more guest. So Denise, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking some time, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Once again, Josh is here for the speed round because we have to change. So we have 5 minutes because I can't have Aubrey mad at me.
Yes. Okay. So Josh, welcome on. Josh Caruth is our EVP of Expositions for Printing United Alliance. Hello, Josh.
Hello. How's it going?
Have you noticed that everybody is saying branded merchandise now? Apparently, a lot of people are watching this broadcast because there are people that I did not know were watching this broadcast.
I wish I could take credit for that, but smarter people than me, and I took to it just like everybody else going, yeah, that's perfect.
Well, I've been giving you credit for it. Should I stop doing that? Because I'll take credit for it. Damn it.
Please. But yeah, so I know we only got a couple minutes here, and just like the previous days, the guests before me always kind of tee up something perfect. And I really love some things that you all were talking with Denise about not just being an owner's show. The show is for everybody, right? The show is for, honestly, it could be a reward. Folks that don't usually get to go, bring them, let them be part of this great big industry, because they're the ones who make it happen every day, because they will take something from it as well, whether it's the paid or even the free education. We by the time we're done putting in all the zones and the pavilions and things like that, especially AI, which is coming soon, we'll have damn near as many free education options as paid. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but it's true. There's so much for everyone across the spectrum to come and absorb, that you pretty much would have to try to leave without taking something with you.
Okay. Yeah, I like that perspective.
Yeah. Just you notice it, but and then also with the opportunities, the crossover stuff, and like whether you're in packaging now, or you're looking to get into other areas, we've had the last few years these great opportunity cards that are around the show that you can just kind of pick up. And it kind of gives you a brief overview of what the segment entails, a QR code you can scan to go to the floor plan, to find the suppliers who supply that, and help give you a roadmap into looking at new opportunities and things like that. We even put a lounge on the floor that's specifically for trade-friendly networking. So printers to help printers and distributors to connect with printers. Being in that space basically means you don't have to tiptoe around that question of, do you work with the trade or are you only forward facing? Because, that can be an awkward conversation sometimes. So we're even trying to create those spaces where we can kind of eliminate that question at the door, and everybody in there can talk freely and really explore what's possible.
Great. And we have a couple minutes. So anything new this year people should be looking out for?
Anything new this year? I mean, we only have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, then one exciting new thing this year that you want.
One exciting new thing. We only have 2 minutes.
I know. I think all the stuff we have going over by the show within a show and ASI is really cool. Like the Spill the Ink district should be actually a really cool place to hang out, where you'll actually be able to go and get your headshot for free. Get that taken care of while you're there. So everybody loves a free professional headshot to get their LinkedIn. Everybody uses AI these days, but now you have a starter, right? You have a good starter to build on. But also you can kind of watch all the industry influencers. But no, I think that's one area that is going to be super cool and is completely new. Everything else might have existed technically, but it's been completely refreshed. All the way to the print we're putting on the walls. The whole approach is completely different.
I mean, I have to say, I liked your graphics this year.
Mhm.
I thought that I really did. I thought that it came out of the corporate zone, if that makes sense.
And our provider, we went to the building and looked, what do we got? We got this like big canvas. We need to play on that. We're the print show. Not that stand-up signs and traditional trade show signage isn't print, but like we should do cool stuff. We should do structures and three-dimensional and architectural installations and make it look like this building was made for our show. That's the power of print. That's what we're trying to do. So hopefully it comes off that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally talking about the email art and the hi, I'm going to the Expo, and hi, I'm an all-star. I mean, it is different this year. It was always in we're a formal
Safe zone.
organization and we have we have authority, and you do. But people don't want to go to that trade show. They want to go to this trade show. At least I do.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Maybe half and half, because I know I'm a little extra.
But that's the quickest I can give it to you to be on time.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Josh is our returning champion. He's been here more than you've been here more, but he's second.
Still got the branded merch. We're still good.
You do.
There we go.
All do. Branded merchandise. Okay, Ashley, wrap it up for everybody so we cannot give Aubrey a heart attack.
Yes. Okay. Well, Josh, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us every day. I know we'll have you back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is our apparel and promo day. So we have
branded merchandise.
I'm sorry. Branded merchandise day. I'll have to remember to say that tomorrow. So everybody, we'll see you again tomorrow.